The global e-cigarette market is smoking. All right, forget the pun. I had to do it, but the demand for the so-called tobacco alternative is out of sight, with a global demand continuing to rise day by day. This industry is on track to have more than $50 billion with a B in sales by 2025. Christopher Cox is the CEO of Gemini Group Global Corporation. Welcome to New to the Street. So Chris, tell us about Gemini, what you guys do. $50 billion is a huge market cap for the e-cigarette industry.
Most definitely. And 19% of Americans in the country are actually e-cigarette users. So we have a large branch to actually go out, and try and tackle with this.
I see you brought you call it a mod, right?
Yes, sir.
Explain what this is.
Sure. This is actually a mod. There's 2 batteries in here. And you take the premium e-liquid that we create, drip it there on the cotton, and what happens is when you push the fire button, it heats up the coils.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I can see it coming out, and it has a flavor. What is that flavor?
This is actually a custard flavor.
Okay.
Yes.
And how many different flavors come for this type of product?
We currently carry 8 different flavors with
Which
Gemini.
are? What are the flavors?
Our line's called Bootleg Elixir, so all of them are moonshine flavors. We have a peach moonshine, we have strawberry moonshine, and there's just a whole bunch of different stuff out there. We got the custard flavors. We have.
And who is the target market for these e-cigarettes?
The target market right now is people who actually smoke. We want to try and help the consumer who smokes to cut back on cigarettes and actually just completely quit altogether.
Because tobacco historically is highly addictive because of nicotine and a mixture of other chemicals in it, but I understand e-cigs don't have the same type of chemicals as tobacco.
Correct. There's only 4 ingredients inside of a premium e-liquid. We have propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and then the flavorings. And that's about it. As far as cigarettes go, you have over 150 different chemicals and ingredients.
So when we talk about addiction to tobacco and smoking, we were talking before, it's not only the actual smoking of the cigarette, it's the mental mens rea of having the cigarette in your hand and
Exactly.
the aura of being incomplete. It's almost like an OCD.
It is. And most people who smoke, they just want to sit there and they want to use the vaporizer and they want to be able to blow out as much smoke as possible. They think that it's more of the hand to the mouth feel than anything. It's that mannerism.
So it's almost like e-cigs can play a trick on the brain because you're doing the same action, but it doesn't have the same addicting bad result from having conventional tobacco.
Exactly.
What is Gemini Vapor?
Gemini Vapor is the name of our company that we're going to use for our brick and mortar stores. We're going to do that for the brick and mortar, and we're also going to use it for the online presence that we have there.
Years ago, you would come out of a club or a restaurant, and if you were a non-smoker, everything stunk of tobacco. Your hair, your clothes, your skin. You had to dump everything and shower. It was terrible. So with e-cigarettes, when the vapor comes out and when it dissipates, you don't have that smell.
Correct. There's no scent at all. When you're sitting there and you're using the vaporizer, whenever you blow out the vapor, that's where the smoke's going to come.
But when it dissipates, it's gone.
Exactly.
So what is new in the world of vapor? What's new like now versus when the product first came out? How is it advanced now to compare to when vapors, how long have vapors been on the market?
Vaping's been around for about maybe 10 years total, not necessarily in, all over the country, but just in certain spots. And an original, what it was a disposable electronic cigarette.
Right.
It was a product that you bought for $200.
And it looked like a cigarette.
Yeah, it looked like a cigarette.
Just part of it
didn't taste like a cigarette.
Trick the brain.
It didn't taste like a cigarette. It tasted like, it was disgusting. It tasted like cardboard. I remember I bought one for $200 and only used it maybe twice. And now you have more customization. You can change, everything about it. You can change how much smoke you want to blow out, how little smoke you want to blow out, how hot the smoke is or cold the smoke is. And there's also just different flavors altogether. You have your custard flavors, your strawberries, your fruits all together, and then you have the original tobacco flavors. So people who originally, want to start quitting smoking, they can go back to their tobacco flavors.
So $50 billion by 2025 in the e-cigarette business. That's a big pie for Gemini to get a slice of.
Most definitely. And if we even hit maybe 1% of that, it's $500 million in revenue. And the thing is, Right now, the disposable electronic cigarettes and the little pen vaporizers are what's being tackled the most right now in the industry. And I see by 2025, what's going to happen is more and more people are going to want to go into the mods because they're going to want more and more flavor. That right now, people are just trying it out because it's new. And what's going to happen is those smokers who are originally just starting to vape, they're going to start going into the mods. And that's where we're going to sit in because we're going to start producing our own mods. It's
Okay.
going to be a lot bigger market.
So what would you say to people who are using conventional tobacco right now and, an addiction is an addiction and they're afraid or apprehensive about switching from that to Gemini's products in the world of e-cigs?
Most definitely. I've smoked for 5 years and I smoked 3 to 4 packs a day. And I just want to say that I enjoy being able to taste food now. As far as vaping goes, I can sit there and I can eat food and not have to sprinkle, half a pound of salt on my food. Or, it's using so much pepper where you actually can taste the meat or you can taste whatever you're eating.
When something like that happens and you're eating the steak and you're like, I can't taste this food, what does that make you think about in your mind, the world of tobacco versus e-cigs? What goes through your mind when you're like, I can't taste what I'm eating here?
Something's wrong. One of the things that you want to enjoy in life is to be able to eat. And to not be able to eat and enjoy what you're eating, that just seems completely wrong to me. Yeah. And in another point, I have a daughter, she's 10 months old, and I don't want to pick up my daughter and her smell like cigarettes. I don't want my family to not want to be in the same room with me because I smell like cigarettes. I want to be able to enjoy a car ride with my daughter and with my family and not have to have a cigarette hanging out the window.
And e-cigs and Gemini is trying to give this $50 billion industry another alternative for people who are addicted to tobacco. Well, I hope you come back to us and keep us updated on this massive consumer market.
Most definitely, I will.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
If you want to learn more about the world of e-cigs, you can visit GeminiVapor.com.